Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new series on the channel. I've decided to take on the task of reviewing every single episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? That's right, every single episode. How many times will we encounter Sargo? How many jobs does Dr. Vink have? To find out, join me as we take a look back at every monster, ghost, clown, vampire, werewolf, and evil chef featured in what is arguably the greatest children's horror series ever made. This is Forever Afraid of the Dark. The Tale of the Phantom Cab. We don't start with the classic intro. That won't come until later on. Instead, we start with the introduction to the Midnight Society. Gary, Kiki, Eric, David, Betty Ann, and Kristen make up the crew in episode 1. David has brought Frank to try to get initiated into the Midnight Society. This is his first story and the first story to kick off the series. I will keep track of who told what story and how many stories they tell over the course of the series in this handy graphic right here. But enough of that. What do you say we get started? Denny and Buzz are brothers on a hike in the woods. Buzz is all about it, but Denny looks like he'd rather be anywhere else. Denny looks like a classic 90s tough guy teenager. You can tell because he tucks his cut-off sleeve shirt into his jeans and wears a backwards hat. It isn't long before Denny claims they are lost and it's Buzz's fault. We get some classic 90s brother banter as day quickly turns to night. They are lost. Turns out Buzz has been using the compass the wrong way and it's gotten them very lost.
That the way you always hold it?
Yeah, so?
Your belt buckle, genius. It's metal. The needle's always gonna point to it because it's a magnet.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, uh-oh.
Yeah, come on, Buzz. What were you thinking? Lucky for the brothers, Flynn is here to help. I don't know if I would trust this guy. Flynn makes good on his word, though, and he leads the boys to a dump of a cabin in the woods. Who opens the door? Well, it's Dr. Vink, of course. The boys just want to use his phone, but Dr. Vink is too busy playing mad scientist show and tell.
The brain of a wild boar.
Ew, cool.
This guy's a nutbag.
Yeah, no kidding. So other than being a nutbag,
And I am not a nutbag.
Dr. Vink is a fan of riddles.
How far can you walk into the woods?
We don't want to do riddles.
But you must. Riddles exercise your brain. And where would you be with no brain?
I don't know. Ask the wild boar.
Halfway.
Say what?
He asked how far he can walk into the woods. Halfway. After that, you'd be walking out.
Good. Very good.
Can I help you, sir? Okay, this guy is a nutbag. It's official.
What is it that has no weight, can be seen by the naked eye, and if you put it in a barrel, it would make the barrel lighter?
Again with the riddles. Now, do you know the answer to this riddle? Pause the video here and comment your answer down below. No cheating. Well, Denny and Buzz aren't able to come up with the answer, so Dr. Vink offers them another way. They'll have to leave a specimen.
This!
Okay, time to get out of there. Wait, Buzz doesn't seem that scared. I think he might just be sick of Dr. Vink's crap. And you know what? I get it. Regardless, Denny and Buzz take off out of the cabin and back into the woods. After a bit of running, the brothers get to the place on the road Vink told them about earlier, just as a cab appears. Surprise! It's Flynn, and he's... dead?
I sort of died!
Yep, dead. After a bit more freaking out, Flynn tells them that they still have time to solve the riddle and break the curse. Yep, there's a curse now. Buzz finally comes up with the answer to the riddle.
It's weightless. You can see it. And if you put it in a barrel, it'll make the barrel lighter.
Say it!
It's a hole. It's a hole in the barrel.
Here we go!
Yeah!
Did you get it right? And the boys are safe. They broke the curse, just in time for a park ranger to pull up and drive them both back to safety. Now back to the Midnight Society, and of course Frank's story was good enough to get in. They'll high-five and such, and that's it for the first episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Now it's time for my quick review and rating. The Tale of the Phantom Cab isn't one of my favorite episodes, but it also isn't one of my least favorites. I would say it lands somewhere in the middle. I always love a good Dr. Fink appearance, and at the time this aired it was definitely creepy for a kid, especially when Flynn goes all Reagan from The Exorcist. It also has the distinction of being the first episode to kick off a legendary series, so for that reason, I'm giving it 5 severed hand in the jars out of 5. The Tale of Laughing in the Dark. The episode starts with Betty Ann partway through her story. As soon as she gets to the clown, Kristen has a freak out. She hates clowns.
This is a clown story. I hate clowns.
Midnight Society takes a few good-natured jabs at her until she decides to stay for the story. Betty Ann then begins her story proper. Josh, Ouija, and Kathy are friends having some fun in the carnival. That is until they arrive at the funhouse. Ouija and Kathy are hesitant. They believe the stories that claim the funhouse is haunted by a clown named Zeebo.
I'm not going in there. They say it's really haunted.
Give me a break.
I heard the same thing. Weird things happen in there. Something to do with the clown.
Josh proceeds to make fun of them for believing such nonsense. Then a man claiming to be the owner lays out some expository dialogue about the funhouse and Zeebo. Josh doesn't seem so brave now. Sometime later, the friends are hanging out and dropping some more expository dialogue about Zeebo in the funhouse. After a bit of banter, Ouija dares Josh to go into the funhouse alone.
Yeah? If you're so brave, why didn't you go in? In fact, I dare you to go in. Alone.
Josh agrees and says he'll take Zeebo's nose to prove that he made it all the way through. On his way in, Josh runs into the creepy guy from before. Josh is in and makes his way to the funhouse, but not before he gets a little scare.
What do you think I am, some kind of clown?
He makes it to Zeebo's door, and after a bit of hesitation, he yanks his nose off and makes it out. Uh-oh. I think Zeebo might be pissed. Josh is starting to get cocky now since he is the kid who beat Zeebo. That is until some strange things start happening. While warming up some spaghetti and dropping pudding all over the floor, Josh gets an interesting phone call.
Give it back. Give it back.
He's totally not scared yet. Hey, how did those get in there? Okay, Josh is scared now. Come on, Josh. Zeebo just wants his nose back. Okay, that's probably the best idea. Josh jets back to the funhouse and gives Zeebo his nose back, and a box of cigars for good measure. Wait, where did the kid get those? Whatever. Josh makes his way out and everything is all good now. Was the creepy man the ghost of Zeebo the whole time? Probably.
The old guy was really Zeebo's ghost. Yeah. So what do you think, Kristen? Is Zeebo gonna pay you a visit tonight?
And that's it. Now it's time for my quick review and rating. I've never been afraid of clowns, so this episode never got to me as a kid, but I'm sure it gave a lot of kids nightmares. Let me know in the comments below if this episode got to you as a kid. The Tale of Laughing in the Dark is another classic Are You Afraid of the Dark episode. I gave episode 1, The Tale of the Phantom Cab, a 5 out of 5, based on it being the first episode of the series. Without that, I would have given it a 4. This episode, I believe, is better. So with that being said, I'm going to give The Tale of Laughing in the Dark 4.5 Zeebo noses out of 5. The Tale of the Lonely Ghost. The episode begins with Kristen walking in the woods towards the Midnight Society's camp, when she is suddenly spooked by David, who reminds you the show is definitely filmed in Canada.
I'm sorry.
He also gives Kristen a birthday present. At camp, Frank is trying to waterboard Eric, and it's David's turn to tell a story. So he begins. Amanda has to spend the entire summer at her Aunt Dottie's house, and she isn't too psyched about it. Her parents had to go out of town because...
Her mom and dad were some kind of scientists.
Doesn't help matters much that her and her cousin Beth don't really get along. While heading up to the house, Amanda thinks she hears something coming from next door, but Aunt Dottie assures her that no one lives there, and she's having a hard time getting anybody to even think about buying the place. Judging by her reaction, I think Dottie knows more than she's letting on. Finally into the house and up to Beth's room, where Amanda would be staying all summer. I don't think I like Beth very much. She's that typical mean 90s girl. I remember them, and I think we all do. Anyway, Amanda wants to hang out with Beth and her friends, but she's gonna have to follow some rules and take part in an initiation.
Then there's the most important thing.
What's that?
The initiation.
Initiation?
Oh yeah. Anyone who hangs with us has to spend a night alone in the place next door. It's haunted.
Amanda's gonna have to spend the night in the house next door, which Beth finally reveals is haunted. Late at night, Amanda meets Nanny, and Beth doesn't seem to like her too much. After a bit of venting from Beth, she tells Amanda of a pool party, but if Amanda wants to come, she has to pass the initiation. Tomorrow night.
Which reminds me, there's a pool party at Sally's on Saturday. I suppose you want to come.
Sure.
Don't get too excited. You can't come unless you go through the initiation.
The night in the haunted house?
You got it. Tomorrow night. Pleasant dreams.
The next day, Amanda has a nice little run-in with Nanny, and Beth continues to rant about her. Hey Beth, have anything to say to Amanda?
Don't touch my stuff.
Okay then. Flash forward and it's time for Amanda's initiation. Beth drops some exposition, but Amanda isn't scared, and so she says. And she heads into the house. Haunted or not, this is a pretty sick house. I'd live there. After a bit of freaking herself out, Amanda sees some worrying phrases being written on the wall. Hey, that's not very nice. She only wants some help. Amanda runs away back home. The next day, after telling Aunt Dottie what happened, the girls are in for a bit of cleaning. Dottie is none too happy about what the girls did last night. Aunt Dottie is not buying the ghost story, and Beth isn't buying it either.
Well, if you think that I'm gonna clean up a mess that you made, now what?
That isn't until Beth notices something in the mirror. Oh, the old swaparoo, eh? Don't worry, Amanda. She only wants to give you a locket. Who's that? Is that Nanny? Oh, it is. And Nanny's her mother. Amanda agrees to help the ghost and runs back to the house to get Nanny, as Beth has a conniption fit in the mirror. I would just leave her there. Serves her right. Amanda looks everywhere for Nanny and finds her about to jump into a cab to leave. She doesn't feel wanted anymore. Nanny doesn't want to go back to the house, but Amanda convinces her when she shows her the locket. Nanny and her daughter are reunited at last, and they both walk into the mirror to be together again. Amanda realizes that Beth is just in the closet and not in the mirror, so she has a bit of fun before letting her out.
Please, Amanda, help me!
Are you gonna stop bossing me around?
Yes!
Are you gonna stop bossing your friends around?
Yes!
Oh, okay, I'll let you out.
Back at the Midnight Society, and Kristen opens her gift, a locket. Good for you, David. And that's it. Now for my review and star rating. This is a pretty solid episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, but I wouldn't put it up there in the pantheon of absolute classic, like some that we'll get to later in the series. I do still like this episode, though. So with that in mind, I'm going to give The Tale of the Lonely Ghost 3.5 super 90s haircuts out of 5. The Tale of the Twisted Claw. The episode begins with the tail end of a story being told by Eric, but this isn't the story of the episode. David is up again, in his second story of the season so far. Kristen mentions that it's been a while since he's told one, yet just last episode's story was told by David. I guess in universe there are a ton of stories that we never get to hear. All that aside, David begins. It's the night before Halloween and a group of kids are doing nearly every Halloween prank known to man, all at the same time. Ding dong ditch, covering a car with what seems to be shaving cream, and TPing the trees in the front yard. Somewhere else, two other kids, Kevin and Dougie, are planning their prank on a house that is supposed to be owned by a witch named Miss Clove. Kevin is all for it, but Dougie is a bit apprehensive, but they walk up to spray shaving cream on the door. But it opens and they spray Miss Clove right in the face. She stumbles and breaks a huge face. The boys take off. Ma'am, are you okay? Flash forward and it's Halloween night. Kevin and Dougie are in their costumes and they head out for trick-or-treating. After some time, they end up at Miss Clove's house again. Kevin convinces Dougie to trick-or-treat there even after what happened the night before. Come on, didn't you know you should never go into the person's house? She does seem like a lovely woman, though. She doesn't have any candy, but she does have a gnarly vulture claw. She claims that it isn't real, but it's said that it is charmed, and you can use it to make 3 wishes. This is a riff on the classic story of the monkey's paw written by W.W. Jacobs and first published in 1902. The two boys reluctantly take the claw and head off. Miss Clove seems to really want to get rid of this claw. On the way home, Dougie accidentally uses one of his wishes for trick-or-treating to be over.
Yeah? Well, I wish we can go home and lose this stupid trick-or-treating. Whoa!
And a bit later, they run into a group of ruffians who want to torment them and take their candy. Kevin and Dougie are able to get away and hide in 2 conveniently placed toxic waste barrels. When the coast is clear, they head home. Looks like Dougie's wish was granted. The next day, maybe, at school, Kevin makes his first wish. He wants to beat another boy, Bostic, in the 600 race. As he makes the wish, we see the claw light up for the first time. Looks like it works. Well, that sure is a shot choice. It's time for the race. We get some killer tunage. Kevin wins the race, but at the expense of Bostic getting hurt when a not-so-good boy trips him near the finish line. When Dougie brings up the dog, Kevin doesn't know what he's talking about because he's too stoked about winning the race, and the dog is nowhere to be found. Later that night, Dougie's parents go out for dinner, and Kevin comes over to hang out. Dougie believes that the claw made the wishes come true and caused Bostic to get hurt, but Kevin doesn't believe him. After a bit of arguing, Dougie being afraid that his parents are going to find out about everything, Kevin grabs the claw from Dougie and wishes that Kevin would lose his folks. The claw lights up. Uh-oh. That's not good. Suddenly, a phone call. It's the police letting know Dougie that his parents were in an accident and they're in the hospital. Kevin believes it now. Dougie wishes that his grandfather was here to help. There's just one problem.
Dougie, your grandfather's dead.
On cue, an old car pulls up in front of the house. Grandpa's here. Kevin tries to wish everything away, but Dougie stops him. They fight over the claw for a while, then the doorbell rings. Dougie then grabs the claw and makes the wish that they should have from the start.
We're sorry we broke Miss Chloe's vase, and we wish it never ever happened.
The claw disappears, but the doorbell is still ringing. It's just Dougie's parents. They're okay, they just forgot their keys. Dougie's wish worked. None of the bad stuff ever happened. What's this on the front porch? Maybe Miss Chloe was a witch after all. And that's it. The Tale of the Twisted Claw is an okay episode. It isn't one of my favorites though. It is just a twist of the old Monkey Paw story. I do like the Halloween atmosphere, but it's short-lived. I would have liked the whole episode taking place on Halloween night. But no biggie. With that being said, I'm going to give The Tale of the Twisted Claw 3 cans of shaving cream out of 5. The Tale of the Hungry Hounds. Kristen is up this time, making this her first story of the series. She's brought along her dog, Elvis, to help with her story, giving us a hint as to what her story might be about. Spoiler, it's about dogs. While rummaging around in her attic, Pam and her cousin from out of town, Amy, stumble across a box of things from their Aunt Dora, who looks just like Pam. Can you see where this is going? No? Well, let's keep going then, shall we? Suddenly, a noise. Amy wants to check it out, but Pam isn't too stoked on finding the source of the sound. While looking, they find a chest, but it's locked. We'll just have to wait and find out what's inside, because Pam and Amy are called down to feed the dogs. A bit later, Pam and Amy are taking a walk. Amy, being from the city, asks Pam what's there to do for fun. Pam takes her to a horse in a field. Just as Pam is about to jump on the horse to ride, her mother drives by and spooks the horse, knocking Pam down to the ground. Great job, Mom. You almost killed your daughter. Pam really wants to learn how to ride, but her mom is having none of it. She says it's too dangerous. Dangerous like pulling up, honking your horn, and spooking a horse so bad that he almost kills your daughter? Pam's mom is still not over what happened 30 years ago. Come on, don't you know that you aren't supposed to use a Ouija board by yourself? Looks like Amy's really bored and not up to playing games, but Pam eventually convinces her to play with her. I'm sure this will all go just fine. Oh hey, another sign that the show is definitely filmed in Canada. The board spells out "Let me out." I'm sure it's nothing. They also get a set of numbers. The code to the chest, perhaps? It is, and they don't really seem too freaked out about it. Inside is Dora's old riding gear. Pam slips on the jacket, and what's this? Is she possessed? Sure seems like it. Pam walks toward the attic window, and it opens. It's night now, even though it shouldn't be. Pam walks down a set of stairs that I assume were not there before. Amy is just as confused as we all are, but she follows Pam down the stairs. Pam continues to walk into the woods in some sort of trance, as Amy follows along trying to make sense of it all. After a bit, they arrive at the family cemetery. Amy finds Pam standing over Aunt Dora's grave. So now we know that Dora's accident was fatal, as if it wasn't obvious. Pam picks up a bone, and she finally speaks again. She said it's a gift from a little fox friend, Mon Petit Rouge. My little red one for those who don't speak French. Now for a little story time. all that, suddenly, a ghost. He's none too happy that Dora forgot to feed the hounds. Amy and Dora, Pam, run to the barn but get locked in. Amy is convinced that the reason Pam is acting so strange is because of Dora's jacket. She tries to take it off of her, but stops when the sounds of angry dogs is heard coming from behind a door. Dora/Pam is hell-bent on feeding the hounds. Amy is scared, so she locks Dora in a little room and says that she will feed the dogs. While Amy is looking for the food, Dora escapes and releases the hounds. Aww, they're just some cute puppers. Amy doesn't think so, though, as she scrambles up some hay in an attempt to escape. Suddenly, Mon Petit Rouge to the rescue. He chases the dogs away and allows Amy to escape. She heads outside to see Dora/Pam on a horse. She takes off and Amy follows her. Amy finally reaches the staircase back to the attic and runs up. Once inside, she finds Pam, and everything is back to normal. Or so it seems. The Tale of the Hungry Hounds is one of the weaker episodes of Season 1 in my opinion. It's still okay though. I'm sure it's a favorite for some of you, and let me know what you think in the comments. With that being said, I'm going to give The Tale of the Hungry Hounds 2 spiffy red jackets out of 5. The Tale of the Super Specs. An absolute classic episode, and a lot of people's favorites. Let me know in the comments if this is your favorite episode. And if it isn't, put your favorite episode in the comment as well. This episode is a special one, because it contains the first appearance of Sardo.
Sardo. No Mr. Accent on the do.
The episode doesn't open on the Midnight Society around the campfire. It instead opens with Gary and Kristen in Gary's dad's magic shop. Kristen tells him that the group feels like his stories just aren't that scary anymore, and that he may be slipping. Gary does some magic, and we cut to the Midnight Society, and Gary wants to prove that he can still tell a scary story. So he begins. Weeds is a prankster, and April Fool's Day is coming up, so he's getting ready by picking up some things at the local magic shop. His girlfriend, Mary Beth, is so over it. She just wants to go to the movies. Weeds is a bit preoccupied though and grabs some magic dust and recites a spell. He throws the dust all over the place and it lands on a display of X-ray glasses, and they glow. I wonder what that means. Thankfully, Sardo comes out from the back. Weeds grabs a few things, including a pair of the X-ray glasses. Weeds convinces Mary Beth to try on the glasses, and she starts to see things. Strange people dressed all in black. The next day at school, Weeds is already causing mischief. He sprinkles some magic dust into a girl's yogurt, without her knowing. When she takes a bite, she turns into Alvin from the Chipmunks.
My voice! What's wrong with my voice? I sound like a chipmunk!
After some more pranks by Weeds, Mary Beth tries the glasses again, and again she starts seeing the people all in black, but nobody believes her. She keeps trying to convince Weeds, but it seems like the glasses don't work on him. Mary Beth gets upset and throws them away. On her way home, she goes into her bag for something, and the glasses are in there. So she runs to Sardo's magic shop. It's closed, so she slides the glasses into the mail slot. Sure, that's gonna work. Back at home, Mary Beth is going through her bag again, and again, there the glasses are. Curiosity gets the better of her, and she puts the glasses on again, only to be met with the strange people in black. She runs to get help from Weeds, but he still doesn't believe her, so she jets off again to Sardo's magic shop. At first, Sardo just wants to get rid of her, until she mentions that the glasses actually work. Sardo explains in a very confident manner that she is seeing into another dimension, and her house is likely a window of some kind, where the people in all black can cross over. Sardo offers to help for a price.
$50?
What?
All right, 20. But I'm losing on the deal.
They need the magic dust that Weeds bought to be able to close the window, so Mary Beth goes to get him, and she gets to Weeds just in time, right before he dumps the magic dust into the toilet. Now, Mary Beth, Weeds, and Sardo are at Mary Beth's house to cast a spell and close the window. I think Sardo might be a hack, and Weeds agrees. However, what he does works, and now they can all see the strange people, all around them. After a few tense moments, Sardo was able to close the window. Maybe.
Take the children!
You have tampered with the cosmic seal.
In a very Twilight Zone style twist, it seems that the other dimension were trying to close the window too, but they were successful.
Funny thing is, they were trying to get rid of you too.
Are they gone for good? I don't think they'll be bothering you anymore.
And that was the Tale of the Super Specs. Like I said before, a classic episode that is a lot of people's favorite. It's one of my favorites too, not to mention the debut of Sardo. So with that, I can't give it anything less than 5 Magic Dust Yogurt Cups out of 5. The Tale of the Captured Souls. Kiki is up in her first story of the series, and it seems like it's going to have something to do with photographs. Kiki is going around snapping photos of the Midnight Society. After explaining how some people believe that a picture can capture your soul, she begins her story. Danielle and her parents are spending some time over the summer in a really nice bed and breakfast type place that seems too good to be true, and it probably is. Right away it seems off, especially when Danielle runs into this long-lost member of Duran Duran. This is Peter. He seems normal enough. Peter shows the family around, and Danielle notices there are tons of mirrors everywhere. I'm sure it's nothing and it won't come into play at all later. Oh, they come into play right away, when Danny, not Danielle, touches one and it gives her a little shock. Peter says the wiring in the house is old. Wiring in the mirrors? Okay. I'm sure there's nothing to worry about. Peter seems fine and not creepy at all. Danny and her dad are playing some ball in the yard and convince Peter to play. He says that he's not much of a sportsman, and boy is he right.
Oops.
Here you are.
Suddenly, Danny's mom wants to take a picture of them, and Peter starts acting very strange. He insists on taking the family's photo together instead. What do you mean Peter is weird and creepy? What makes you say... Oh. Yeah, you're right. A bit later, inside the house, Danny's roaming around and finds a staircase leading up to Peter's room. Peter is there and tells Danny how great it is being by himself. He can do what he wants, when he wants. Then he makes an odd comment which will have a very different context later.
I always admire a girl with great physical strength.
While Peter explains his little science experiment to Danny, he informs her that she's starting to break out, so she takes off back down the stairs to check it out. Danny gets shocked by a mirror again, and meanwhile, Peter presses a button and his room starts transforming like Spider-Man's room in the 1970s cartoon. Some weird tubes pop out. Peter then turns on a set of security cameras. He's been spying on the guests, and a large tube comes down. Peter turns up the power and steps inside. Not only has he been spying on them, he's draining their youth with his mirrors and machines. Now, Peter's playing baseball just fine, but Danny's dad just isn't feeling right.
I'll get it.
Don't worry about it.
No! I said I'll get it.
Okay, Peter, sheesh. Relax. Danny's mom isn't looking so hot either, and Danny's starting to break out even worse. While checking herself in the mirror, it shocks her again. She gets frustrated and slams it, breaking the mirror. And what do we have here? A camera. Danny calls for her dad, but he doesn't seem too worried about it, and heads off. He's looking even older now. While wandering around outside, Danny comes across a family cemetery with some strange-looking tombstones. A bit later and back inside, Danny's starting to take down the mirrors in the house. She knows something is up. Her mom and dad are oblivious and think nothing is wrong, even though they've aged a good 20 or 30 years in just a couple days. Danny's off to find Peter, but instead she finds the special button, and Peter's room transforms again. She also finds the security cameras. She sees Peter in the camera, but that's not Peter. Is it? Danny runs off to get some answers. It is Peter. Danny saw his true form in the monitor. He's actually an old man. See what I mean about the context of a certain comment earlier? I know what they were going for, but it's still weird. She takes off to try to figure everything out and get out safe. Peter catches up to her, though, and lays out his whole plan.
You were right. It's all done with mirrors, which you have cleverly managed to avoid. After tonight, you'll be all alone. Oh, yes. We've entered the final phase. We can be young. Forever.
You're crazy.
No. I'm very, very smart.
Danny snaps a photo of Peter to give herself some time, and they both end up in Peter's room. Danny is able to lock Peter up in his tube and reverse the process, but not before Danny had one last thing to say.
No, no! And don't call me Danielle.
Danny and her parents are able to get out safe, while Peter is left alone as the old man he really is. And that's it. The Tale of the Captured Souls is another pretty weak episode in my opinion, but not as weak as The Tale of the Hungry Hounds. It is a pretty memorable episode though. So with that being said, I'm going to give it 2.5 Polaroids out of 5. The Tale of the Nightly Neighbors. Betty Ann is up again, making this her second story of the season so far, leaving Eric as the only member of the Midnight Society who hasn't told a story yet. But that will change soon as he tells 2 stories back-to-back on episodes 10 and 11. And Betty Ann begins. Day-Day is watching Night of the Living Dead on the couch and eating some popcorn when suddenly his sister, Emma, sneaks up and scares him and gives him a new hat, wasting all that good popcorn. As she waxes philosophical, she notices some strange new neighbors moving in across the street. Emma thinks they're interesting. Day-Day just thinks they're weird. The next day, the kids head over to say hello to the new neighbors, the Bronze, when they run into a moving guy bringing over some large refrigerators, so he says. They aren't home, so he leaves them, but Emma notices the car in the garage, so they must be home. Emma thinks up all kinds of wild theories as the kid's mom steamrolls the mailman.
I'm sorry. I'm late. Bye!
Is that all you can say? Really? The mailman isn't looking so hot. He says he hasn't been feeling right ever since the new neighbors came over for a visit. This has Emma watching the Bronze very closely, which isn't weird at all. She notices that they never come out during the day, only night. Before long, the whole town is coming down with the same illness that affected the mailman, and Emma just knows that the Bronze have something to do with it. She puts it all together. They never come out during the day, and they're from Eastern Europe, so of course they must be vampires.
Could we have a Dracula running loose out there?
All the other neighbors are getting sick and have bandages on their necks, so she might be right. She also believes the refrigerators that were delivered are actually their coffins. If only she could prove it.
And I'm gonna check, tonight. I'm gonna wait till they leave, then get into their basement.
Oh, just some casual breaking and entering. No biggie. Before her crime spree, Emma hangs up some garlic and lays down some vampire rules to Day-Day.
Could we have a Dracula running loose out there?
While Emma scares herself in the basement, the Bronze show up at her house. Day-Day initially doesn't invite them in, but his mom does. After a bit of conversation, Day-Day is starting to believe Emma's theory about the Bronze being vampires. Back in the basement, Emma discovers that it was just refrigerators, but they're locked. Why would they be locked? So after a bit of some more crime, and a scare from Day-Day, who crawls in to warn her that the Bronze are on their way back home, they discover the refrigerators are full of blood. After getting out of there, Emma's really starting to take a liking to a life of crime.
Tomorrow after school. Before it's dark, we gotta get them before they get us.
The next day, Emma and Day-Day are all geared up and they enter the basement once again. After a close call trying to open the locked door where Emma thinks the Bronze coffins are, they decide to make a break for it instead, running into the Bronze in the driveway. They can't be vampires because they're out during the day, right? Emma embarrasses herself really quick as the Bronze explains why they have all the blood. Turns out they are just storing extra blood from the hospital. In the basement, the Bronze are having a chat, and it turns out them working at the hospital is just a cover story, and they are vampires. Or, well, just the boy Lex is, apparently. We get a nice fangy close-up, and that's how the story ends. We never find out what happened to Emma, Day-Day, and their family, or the rest of the neighborhood. I'm sure it all worked out just fine. And that was The Tale of the Nightly Neighbors, which I think is still a classic episode. It's a standard vampire tale, but I like how it was done, and the twist is still pretty cool. So with that, I'm going to give The Tale of the Nightly Neighbors 5 dollar store vampire fangs out of 5. The Tale of the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Betty Ann is up again, making this her 3rd story of the season, and the Midnight Society member with the most stories told in Season 1. She gives a little preamble, and then starts her story. The story begins with a flashback to 1966. A young girl with a snake tattoo is hiding a strange artifact in an old building. Then we jump ahead to present day, and that same old building is now a school where Dean attends. Dean just kind of exists in the background and really only has one friend, Alex. Later in the day, Dean is in his world cultures class, while a special guest, Dr. Oliver, an archaeology expert, gives a presentation on some interesting artifacts. Dean seems to be very keen on a snake staff once owned by a Babylonian sorcerer named Goth. Goth, you say? After the class, Dean has a chat with Dr. Oliver as he looks over all the artifacts, especially the staff of Goth. The snake eyes glow, and it looks like Dean is in big trouble. Well, it seems like immediately, Dean is possessed and goes down to the school's basement and finds the artifact hidden there back in 1966. Jump forward an indeterminate amount of days later, and Dean has changed, and it seems like he has powers now. He's able to almost possess his mean chemistry teacher, Mrs. Crenshaw. Alex knows there's something wrong with Dean, especially after he acts completely different around her. Okay, Dean, that's a bit unnecessary, don't you think? After some time, Dean is completely transformed. He's extra cool now with a whole new group of friends. You can tell he's cool now by his sweet new leather jacket. One day, Dean takes some mercuric acid, which isn't even a real acid apparently, from chemistry class, and heads to the basement area, and Alex follows him. Dean is holding some kind of ritual using the mercuric acid and belladonna to bring back Goth. Yeah? Bring it on. Alex is spotted and Dean's new friends take off after her. She's able to give him the slip and heads back to see what Dean is up to. He's been able to summon Goth a little bit, and after a short chat and mission briefing, Alex blows it again by making noise, and Goth sends Dean after her.
Stop her!
Alex runs to Mrs. Crenshaw for help, but she's still under Dean's spell. Dean's acolytes are all over the place, and Alex makes a break for it and ends up in the auditorium where Dean is. After a little back and forth, Dean lets Alex go because she is his best friend after all, but she'll become one of them eventually anyway. But Dean is off to prepare for the big ritual. Alex follows them, even though she could have escaped and maybe went to the police. The police wouldn't believe the ancient spirit of a sorcerer returning, but they'd believe her if she just said that she caught someone stealing chemicals from her school's chemistry lab, though. It's worth a shot. And she's captured.
Great job.
Now it's time for the big ritual. Dean gathers his acolytes and the ingredients for the ritual in the pool room that had been closed off for years. This makes me think of another episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? How about you? Whoa. We'll get to it. Alex tries to stop the ritual by removing the orb from the staff, but it's too late. Dean is able to summon Goth. And Goth has his big moment and gives a speech.
Bow before me, or feel my wrath.
Alex tosses the red orb into the pool, breaking the spell on Dean and the others. Dean has no idea what's going on, and as he attempts to go to Alex, Goth stops him in his tracks. Goth continues his big speech, but Alex runs to a barrel of chlorine, which she dumps into the pool, counteracting the mercuric acid and belladonna, I guess. This sends Goth packing and everything is back to normal. Dean, Alex, and the other kids head off, leaving the staff behind. Oh, and what's this? Dr. Oliver is here, and she planned the whole thing? Oh, she was the girl in the beginning who planted the red orb. And after that little twist, the story is over. The Tale of the Sorcerer's Apprentice is a pretty solid episode, I think. Not one of the weaker ones, but certainly not in the top ranks. Kinda right in the middle. So with that, I'm gonna give this episode 3 wicked cool snake staffs out of 5. The Tale of Jake and the Leprechaun. This is Eric's first story of the season. He mentions that his grandfather from Ireland passed away that week, and this was one of his favorite stories. So with that, he begins. Jake is a young actor, and he finally lands the lead in a play. He's not doing the best job so far, though.
Sorry.
Another actor in the play, Aaron, keeps drinking this strange tea. Jake asks a member of the crew, Lucy, what the deal with the tea is. Apparently it helps Aaron be creative, and Jake wants it too, so Lucy gives him the recipe. Well, that was easy. Jake and Aaron rehearse a bit more, and the next day Jake's off to find the ingredients for the tea at a nursery where he runs into Sean O'Shaney. Hey, he was in Willow. When Sean reads the list of herbs that Jake is looking for, he gets very angry and shoots him away. You find out why he's so angry right away in the next scene. Aaron is performing some kind of ritual, and it involves Jake. We don't get a full reveal just yet, though. During another rehearsal, Jake and Aaron are practicing their scene again. When Jake takes a swig of Aaron's drink, something strange happens.
Spirit bright and leave behind the human blight? What? What's happening?
Jake's starting to get freaked out. Aaron says he has the glamour, and Jake immediately remembers Sean saying the same thing. So he's off to find him. He does, but Sean still isn't interested in hearing him out. But he gives in and lets Jake explain everything. Wait, do you live here? In the nursery? Sean informs Jake how powerful these herbs can be, and how trades with fairies and leprechauns work.
Herbs can be very powerful if used by those who know how. Yours be mine, and mine be yours, was all it took.
Sean knows something's up and agrees to go see the last rehearsal of the play. When he hears what Aaron and Jake are saying, he knows it's something serious, and does what he can to stop them. He's able to loosen some ropes and collapse some of the set, just in time. Well, not quite. Looks like the effects of the ritual have started. Jake has pointy ears now. Sean gives Jake the scoop on what's happening. Aaron is doing a ritual to turn Jake into a changeling. And with that, they're off to pay Aaron a little visit. Jake and Sean cause a little distraction to get Aaron out of his dressing room and sneak in to find out who he really is. After almost getting caught, they get their answer. They're able to sneak out, and Sean lays it all out for Jake. Turns out Aaron is a banshee and needs to feed on a human soul once every 7 years, and Jake is the lucky one. To reverse the spell, Jake has to beat Aaron at his own game. It's the night of the play. After the first act, Sean tells Jake the rules that he has to follow in order to beat the banshee Aaron.
Rule number 1, be fearless. Swallow this. Rule number 2, give him a taste of his own medicine. Don't you drink that yourself.
Don't worry.
Rule number 3, don't take your eyes off him. You must spellbind him. Lock your eyes with his and turn his own spell against him. Understand?
Now it's time for the big scene. Aaron knows what Jake is up to and reveals his true self. Of course the audience thinks it's all part of the play, but thankfully Sean is here to help, right? Oh, it looks like Aaron is winning. Jake's a toad now. But what's this? Sean to the rescue. He has Aaron's tail and makes a little trade.
Yours be mine, and mine be yours.
It works, and Jake is safe. That's right, just play along. No one would believe you anyway. And that was The Tale of Jake and the Leprechaun. A really good episode, I think. Not one of my favorites, but I do love folk horror. So it's pretty cool. If it's one of your favorite episodes, let me know in the comments. And with that, I'm going to give The Tale of Jake and the Leprechaun 4 pointy ears out of 5. The Tale of the Dark Music. This is Eric's second story of the season, and also back-to-back stories from him. In the opening Midnight Society segment, Eric reveals that Frank is afraid of the dark. Frank gets frustrated and says that it isn't true, but Eric says it's perfect because his story is about someone who is afraid of the dark as well. And with that, he begins his story. Andy is having a tough time. His parents got divorced and money is tight. Luckily, a distant uncle left Andy's mom a house at his will. Looks like things were starting to look up. That is, until this kid.
You mess with me, kid, and I'll deck you.
Killer boots, man!
Looks like Andy is going to have a great time in his new neighborhood. A pounding avoided for now, Andy is helping his mom unpack, and who's that? Is that Andy's sister? There was no mention or shot of her before, and she's just there. Anyway, Andy's mom wants him to grab a ladder from the basement. Andy isn't too stoked about it. Andy's sister, maybe, Christina, gives him a good razzing, saying that he's afraid of the dark. Just to not look like a wuss, Andy heads down to the basement. It's just a basement, right? Nothing to be too worried about. Oh, what's this? It's a really cool old radio. Hey, what's going on behind that super creepy door?
Command Sir Devlin!
Oh, probably just a demon.
Hello, Andy. Come on in.
Andy then does what any smart kid would do in that situation. He runs up and tells his mom. To her credit, she doesn't write Andy off completely and checks what's behind the door. But of course, there's nothing but the empty old root cellar. Sometime later, maybe the next day, Andy's on his paper route and he makes a big mistake. A chase ensues, and Andy gets away from his, as of now, unnamed bully by running down into the basement from the outside. After a little jump scare from Christina, they both head upstairs. A while later, Andy's mom is giving a little backstory on the uncle who they inherited the house from.
Well, he was a strange guy. He never left the house, but somehow got filthy rich. Nobody knows where the money came from. From what I hear, the neighbors didn't like him too much. I thought he was kind of loony.
Turns out he was a hermit but was filthy rich, and nobody knows how he got all the money. Andy's mom asks Christina to help with the laundry in the basement, but she's too busy pretending to play video games. So it's up to Andy. While in the basement doing laundry, Andy is listening to some tunes, and the root cellar door starts to jiggle again.
Command Sir Devlin!
Well, horrors won't be behind the door this time. No thank you.
Andy, won't you come play with me? We can have lots of fun. Just come with me.
Don't go anywhere with that thing. Seems like Andy is possessed. Luckily, his mom flips the power to the basement, the radio turns off, and the Goldilocks abomination slides back into the root cellar. Another day, and Andy has to do some more laundry. The radio is on, so you know what that means.
Command sent Atlanta!
Something's wrong with the radio. It changes to strange carnival music. The door opens, but this time it's a green screen carnival complete with Barker. Andy's in a trance again and moves towards the door, and then this.
What's the matter, Andy? Don't you want to have some fun?
While trying to hold on, Andy rips the radio from the wall and finally realizes what's going on.
Music. It's music. I got his whole mom.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll believe you and not try to get you admitted to an asylum. Unfortunately for Andy, he runs into the bully again and gets a knuckle sandwich for his effort. And just because this bully is extra horrible, he throws Andy's bike into the road to be run over by a giant truck. Just as Andy starts feeling sorry for himself, he has a great idea. Oh, that was clever. We get a montage of Andy doing his best Kevin McAllister impression, setting up this elaborate trap in the basement.
When you're done, come over and clean my house. You make a good maid. You're dead. Kid, you are toast.
Don't tell me he's actually gonna fall for that. Oh, he fell for it immediately.
What's the matter, Coda?
Bully's name is Coda? Would have been nice to know that earlier. Whatever. Andy flips the power switch and the radio blasts. The door glows red, and it looks like this is the end of Coda's reign of terror. Andy kills the power and heads down to make sure Coda is done bullying him, but there's no Coda. Just a brand new bike. Looks like the demon in the door will give Andy whatever he wants, as long as he keeps feeding him.
It's yours, Andy. I'll give you anything you want. Just like I did for your uncle. Anything you want. You only have to do one thing.
What's that?
Feed me, feed me.
So, rip Coda, I guess. From upstairs, Andy hears his sister being obnoxious. He breaks the fourth wall with a creepy look, and that's the end. The Tale of the Dark music is a classic episode, and I'm sure it's in the top tier of most fans' lists. I love how the story ends with kind of a sinister ending instead of everyone and everything is okay in the end type ending. This is an episode I think that should have been a two-parter. I would have liked a bit more on the bully Coda and why he acts the way he does, other than just a quick little scene of his dad being kind of a jerk and making him scrub the front steps. Also, it would have been nice to know his name before the last few minutes of the episode. I would have also liked the sister introduced properly, instead of just showing up in a scene. This doesn't ruin the episode or anything. I still really like it. And so, with that being said, I'm going to give it 4.5 super creepy dolls out of 5. The Tale of the Prom Queen. The members of the Midnight Society are waiting on Kristen, who is late again. Just when they think she might not come, she shows up and spooks them all wearing a ghostly white dress. She mentions her story as one that's been told many times, but this is the true version. This is in reference to the story being inspired by the old urban legend of the vanishing hitchhiker, with one of the most famous being Resurrection Mary. I'll leave a link in the description to the story if you'd like to read it. With that, Kristen begins. A young woman, who we find out later is named Dee Dee, is laying flowers on a grave with someone who we don't get to see. Dee Dee hears some strange voices and she starts to get a little freaked out. But it's just these two, Greg and Jam. Apparently they're out here looking for ghosts and having a little fun. Jam fills Dee Dee in on the story of the prom queen.
Saturday night's prom night. The night of the prom queen?
Prom queen?
You don't know the story of the prom queen?
No.
It happened a long time ago, on prom night. A girl was waiting here, by the gates, for a date to pick her up. She was all set to go, wearing her prom dress and everything. But it was a foggy night. Thule fog. The kind where you can't see cars coming till it's too late. So there she was, waiting in the fog, when a car came ripping around the corner. Some say that the driver was bombed because he took the turn too wide. He bounced over the curb and he hit her. Smack! And the slime just drove off. Didn't even realize what he'd done. They found her the next morning. And a couple of days later, they buried her in her prom dress. Every year on prom night, the ghost of the girl comes back. People have seen her by the gates, still waiting for the ride that never comes.
And we're gonna see if it's true.
Greg and Jam are hanging out at the cemetery to find the grave of the girl, and they hope to see the ghost for themselves. Surprisingly, Dee Dee is all for it and joins them. They don't have any luck finding the grave, but Greg has a great idea to check out old newspapers for a story about the accident or an obituary for the girl. So off they go to the library. While going through old microfilm, they find it.
Girl killed by hit and run on prom night.
That's it. It happened just like you said. Fog and all. Local girl. Night of May 7th, 1956. Her name was Judy Larson. It says she was waiting for her boyfriend, Ricky Mitchell, to pick her up, but Ricky's mother said that he never got the message.
Oh, no.
When Ricky heard what happened, he got so upset that he drove his car, a 1955 Chevy, off the Mianus River Bridge.
He died too?
They say it was an accident. And they never found him or the car.
Excellent.
All the while, something is approaching them. Could it be a ghost? Nope. Just this little old lady. Okay, cut away now. Cut away. There we go. While discussing what to do, Dee Dee has an idea. She wants to help the ghost of Judy by trying to contact her boyfriend Ricky and have him finally pick her up for prom. Jam is all about it, but Greg, not so much. But he gives in because he has a thing for Dee Dee. Night falls and Dee Dee, Greg, and Jam head out on a boat on the river, and they stop underneath the bridge where Ricky went over. Commence the seance. How does she know how to do this?
Hey, you're pretty good at this.
That's what I was just saying. Whatever she's doing, it seems to work, because this happens.
Do it! Dig, Greg, dig!
That wasn't what we thought it was it?
No. It could have been a leaky water main, it could have been a sewage pipe, it could have been some kind of natural gas pockets.
Or a ghost taking an evening spin.
No! I don't know what it was, but it was no ghost.
Wow, Greg is really going through it right now. Greg tries to explain it away by saying it could have been anything, but not a ghost. Jam says there's only one way to find out. They need to go back to the cemetery tomorrow night, prom night, to really see if the whole story is true. Back at the Midnight Society, Kristen informs everyone that the next day, Dee Dee, Greg, and Jam were able to look through the cemetery's records and were able to find the grave they were looking for.
You don't really believe all this stuff, do you? I mean, you're just doing this for a goof, right?
I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Man, Greg is kind of a bummer. Just go with it. It's fun. They wait in a spot where they can see the grave and the road, so if anything happens, they'll know it. And something happens, alright. Suddenly a figure cloaked in white walks through the cemetery. Greg doesn't believe it, so he goes up to the figure to prove it isn't a ghost. And it isn't. Turns out Jam was having a little fun and had his cousin Chuck come out to try to scare everyone. Just as Greg is about to pound Jam, Dee Dee sees a car in the distance. Not just any car. The car. Ricky's old Chevy pulls up and, wait, what's this? I'll let Dee Dee explain.
You see, I couldn't leave the cemetery unless someone brought me with them. And then you solve the mystery of why Ricky never picked me up and got him to come.
Dee Dee.
Oh, Dee Dee's my nickname. My real name's Judy. Thanks, guys. I'll never forget you.
So Dee Dee, Judy, was the ghost the whole time. And that's the end. The Tale of the Prom Queen is a classic episode, and I'm sure that it's not a hot take to give it 5 1955 Chevys out of 5. I can't think of anything that I would change or anything that would make this episode any better. The Tale of the Pinball Wizard. It took far too long to get here, but we're here now. So let's get into it. But first, a little statistic. Betty Ann told the most stories in Season 1 with a total of 3. Frank and Kiki are tied for last with only 1 story each for this season. Gary's up this time in his 2nd story of the season. Members of the Midnight Society are arguing over a video game that David is playing. At least they knew to put a game in the Game Boy, unlike the Game Gear at Rumble in the Bronx. That always bugged me. Kristen argues that winning and losing in video games doesn't matter. Gary arrives and says that it's true, because you can always keep trying. But what if you had to play a game where it did matter? With that, Gary begins. Ross is a kid who is on his own a lot, and he's at the mall looking for quarters anywhere he could find them. The payphone, of course, and in the fountain. Hey, those are people's wishes in there.
This was my dream, my wish, and it didn't come true.
After a brief tug of war with the homeless woman, we have a special appearance of Chekhov's Super Soaker.
The Super Soaker 100.
It's a water gun of a higher caliber.
Russ heads into what looks like a curio shop, where he asks the owner, Mr. Olson, for a job. Mr. Olson is not having it. He believes Ross will just play the pinball machine in the shop all day instead of working. Ross keeps badgering Mr. Olson about the job and notices a new pinball machine in the shop. Mr. Olson starts acting real strange when Ross asks him about it. What's his deal? Mr. Olson tells Ross to leave because it's time for his lunch break, and he has to close up the shop while he's gone. Ross has a great idea to let him watch the store while Mr. Olson is out to lunch, like a trial run. Mr. Olson finally agrees. He tells Ross to not mess with the new pinball machine in the back, and what does Ross do? He immediately starts playing it. Mr. Olson was right to not trust this kid. As Ross is playing, Mr. Olson can hear the machine from outside and he smiles like a creep, almost as if he planned the whole thing. A short time later and a customer comes in. Ross is smitten right away with the girl, Sophie, and becomes a bumbling idiot. She comes for a music box that Mr. Olson was repairing for her.
Yeah, I'm in charge. Sophie, I'm Ross.
My music box?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. What's it look like again?
After a bit of Ross trying to be a big shot, he finally admits to her that he's only watching the shop while Mr. Olson is away. She says she'll come back later and leaves for now. Ross heads right back to the new pinball machine. He's hooked, and before he knows it, the mall is closed and everyone is gone. Where's Mr. Olson? He rushes to the front door, but no luck. He's locked in. Suddenly the payphone is ringing. Who could it be?
Got an umbrella.
That voice doesn't sound very friendly. Now it's raining quarters, and Ross doesn't think any of this is weird at all. Then, the men in black are here. No, not them. There we go. But they don't like water. Sophie is here too, and she's a princess now. Just before she's taken away by this guy, she tells Ross to get a tiara from the vault as she drops a key for him. Looks like Ross will have to play the game for real. As Ross tries to figure out what vault Sophie was talking about, he happens across some lockers. Maybe this one is the vault. Nope. Ross just gets gacked.
What is gack?
Gack is great stuff. Oozy. Gack is fishy.
You can pull it. Make gack sounds.
How rude.
Suck it up and squirt it out with a gack back. Pump it up and blow it up with a gack inflator.
Well, I never.
Nickelodeon Gack comes in different colors, sizes, and playsets, each sold separately. Coming soon from Mattel.
Disgusting.
After a couple attempts, he finds it, and the escalator kicks on, and Ross is up to level 2. Sophie is there and has Ross chase after her, but the homeless woman from earlier, who's now a witch, cuts him off and Sophie is taken away again. The witch creates a windstorm and is able to get the tiara from Ross. Sophie yells to Ross to get the music box from earlier. Just as he's about to grab it, Sophie is in the back room of Mr. Olson's shop, tied up. Ross uses the key to remove the chains and free Sophie, but this executioner guy comes to life. They grab the music box, and they head out. The witch is about to put on the tiara, but Sophie plays the music box, and then the tiara disappears. Sophie hides the music box and explains to Ross that the villains can't get both. After some shenanigans, and Sophie being kidnapped again, Ross gets the tiara and the music box. He ascends to level 3. Ross finally figured out what's going on, and what he has to do. He needs to crown Sophie on the throne to beat the game, but the big bad has other plans. He throws Ross in the elevator that takes him back down to level 1.
Water. This is why she said I needed this.
Ross then remembers how they don't like water, so he grabs Chekhov's Super Soaker and heads back up to level 3 to take out the big bad. Ross takes care of all the minions, and only the big bad is left. Ross handles him pretty easily and finally crowns Sophie. But wait, he's back at the start. He didn't win after all. He looks up to the skylight and there's Mr. Olson. He knew he couldn't trust him, and he trapped Ross in the game forever. And that's the end of the episode, and the end of Season 1. The Tale of the Pinball Wizard is a pretty good episode. I like that it didn't have a happy ending like some of the other episodes. And the stuck in a real life game concept is really cool. So I'm going to give it 4 Super Soakers out of 5. Let me know what you think in the comments. One interesting thing I noticed about the episode on this rewatch is there was no post-commercial break Midnight Society segment. My guess is that it was cut for time. There is a Midnight Society wrap-up at the end though, where we get this great nugget of wisdom from Gary.
Whoever's got the game, just make sure the game doesn't get you.
Next time we're going to start on Season 2, the first episode of that season, The Tale of the Final Wish. So until then, stay afraid.